Dear Derry, welcome to Motivational Monday. Sadly, today's Motivational Monday comes to us because of the death of an actor that I really, really admired, and I'm sure most of you have heard about it. That was Phillip Seymour Hoffman, was found this morning dead in his New York apartment. However, very shortly after I learned about that, somebody quoted something from him that I had never heard before. I'd never heard this particular quote from him, and it's very, very true. And that quote is the only two really helps if I can, say it correctly. The only true currency in this bankrupt world is what you share with someone else when you're uncool. And when I first read that, I was like, "What? That makes no damn sense." And then I stopped and I really thought about it. When you're cool and you're famous and you've got everything going for you, it's easy to share, you know, something with somebody, because you both sit around commiserating about how horrible it is to have fans who don't listen to you, or they listen to parts of what you say and not other parts. For example, you go to a convention or you sit there and you're signing posters or whatnot, and they I think one of the biggest problems that famous people have to deal with is the fact that you've got hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people who know you because they can learn everything there is about you. But that's thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who only have to keep track of you. It's a little bit more difficult from the other side of the equation, trying to keep track of hundreds of thousands of people. Do you remember that one time when we met at Bob? No, honestly, I don't. It's nothing against you, as a person. I just, I don't remember everybody, and it does sting as a fan who has been, I don't want to say snubbed, because they're not snubbing you when you do that. It's not like they're doing it out of with a sense of malice or anything. It's simply the fact that there's no way that they could remember everybody. But it's hard not to, as a fan, think, what's wrong with me? Why didn't I leave enough of an impression for them to remember me? Don't do that to yourself. Do not do that to yourself. Um, if you want to know the answer to the question, why don't they remember me? Get famous. You'll see exactly what it's like. Um, I, I am not famous. In furry circles, I used to be very well known. I used to host a lot of shows. I emceed a lot of shows at conventions and whatnot. And people would come up to me afterwards and talk to me about how funny they thought I was. I'm like, that's awesome. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. And I did. And I still do. I still appreciate very much how much people enjoyed the show and whatnot, especially since they weren't there to see me. They were there to watch, a costume presentation panel or something. And I was just up there vamping, because the acts weren't ready. Anyway, they would come to me like a year or two later and be like, "Hey man, it's great to see you." And it's like, I haven't seen them since that first day 2 years ago. And I'm like, I mean, I feel so horrible to have to do that. But it's like, I honestly, I mean, we met once for maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes at the most. I've slept since then. It was 2 years ago. And it really makes me feel like a dick sometimes, but it happens. And I imagine that's sort of, kind of, but not really what Mr. Hoffman was talking about when he mentioned this quote, because when you're not cool, when you don't have the world on a platter basically in front of you, when you are just average Mr. Joe Schmo, completely unremarkable, when you have things that you share in common with other people at that level, that's genuine. That's real, stuff. That's the kind of thing that means something. That's the stuff that has value. When you're famous, it doesn't mean shit. The audience will turn on you in a heartbeat if you piss them off. There is no forgiveness. There is only not forgiveness. Or I'm trying to think of an example of, some actor who was, I mean, he was everybody's darling, and then just totally screwed everything up. Well, Mel Gibson kind of did that. Kind of did that a little bit. In a way, Robert Downey Jr. did as well, because he was really, really popular. Back when he did Soap Dish and stuff like that, and then lots and lots of cocaine and all kinds of other drugs and whatnot. And he was, as he and I just said his name, Mel Gibson, as the two of them refer to it, hugging the cactus, as a sign of recompense, or not recompense, but, absolution, I guess. I don't know why I was sitting like that for so long. I was like, that's starting to hurt a little. But there was a point where he's like, okay, hug the cactus for long enough. And so Robert Downey Jr., he came back and he became the best goddamn Iron Man anyone has ever seen. I mean, and we love him again. Love, 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 love. He's great as Iron Man and as Sherlock. He makes an awesome Sherlock. It's a very different Sherlock from thing. And this is so not Motivational Monday. I don't know where I'm going with this. Suffice to say, the things that you share in common with people when you're both just average, that is your genuine currency, because that's that's the connections that matter, that actually mean something. If you're like a famous person, when you're cool, it's completely and utterly pointless, useless. The things that you have, it's fleeting. It means nothing. So I guess, what would I be saying? What am I saying with this particular Motivational Monday? Don't be cool? No, not that. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I guess it's never lose that sense of grounding, that backwards glance every now and again to remember kind of where you came from, where you started from, when you weren't famous, when you weren't popular, when you were just this guy, when you were humble, and to be able to, drop back into that. If you've got some kind of a persona that you present that is very kind of, dashing and funny and all this other stuff, but somewhere deep inside you're still kind of reserved and quiet, and you don't want to impose on people and stuff. Keep that part of you, because that part of you is a lot more genuine than the facade of, forward, zany outgoingness that you keep. Keep them both, but remember which one is the real you, which one is the not cool you, the humble you that still has the humility to admit when you're wrong, and to ask for help when you need it, to recognize when you need it, because it's a big one. Yeah, there you go. There's your Motivational Monday. And it sounds kind of backwards from Motivational Monday. Motivational Monday is usually about, you can do this thing. Just go out there and kick ass and rock and be splendid and fabulous and perfect and wonderful. And now I'm saying, but also be humble. And, if you need help, ask for it. Don't be afraid to ask for it. And when you're wrong, admit that you're wrong and apologize. There you go. You make a lot more friends, genuine friends, by that level of honesty, and that level of humility. You will, oh my God, amazing level kind of friendship and stuff like that. All right, that's 10 minutes. I'm gonna let you guys go. Be careless.